This is professional wrestler Cody Diener, and you're listening to Saved by the Buzzer with Dan and Bill.
Hey guys, it's Bill. My better half is not doing this little segment with me. We agreed to find some time between us to talk about a couple things just so that you guys could get your By the Buzzer pod fix. And I'm here to talk about a few things. You know, we had opening day for the Jays and for the rest of MLB baseball. I mean, it's good to see. And I'm also going to be talking about a couple matches for WrestleMania because it is WrestleMania week. And I got my Smackdown shirt because I'm repping my boy Edge, you know, Canadian boy. And, buddy, I got to rep the blue. So I'm happy that Edge is part of WrestleMania. WrestleMania week has been action-packed. I know they did the Hall of Fame show this week. And, you know, everything looked like it was going smooth. I wish Dan was here because, you know, this is the part of the segment that feels a little bit wrong without him because this is where we, you know, talk about what we're drinking tonight. And, you know, I got a solo cup alone and I'm just drinking some tea today, but I do have a little bit of mix of a special friend right here. So keeping me company on a nice day today in Toronto and up north in Barrie, actually. And honestly, man, Dan, I need you for these segments, buddy. I'm lost without you. But guys, please make sure you follow us By the Buzzer Pod across all the boards, across all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. We're also on YouTube. Dan does a tremendous job of getting all our information out. Please give us a follow, a like, anything you can to support. And also comment whatever you guys want, whatever you guys feel, hate mail, whatever, bring it on. And we're going to tackle it head on. Guys, huge week that just happened. Jays opening day. Good for baseball. I mean, action-packed week. I could sit here talking forever. I mean, you got Ohtani hitting a monster home run. You got him pitching a gem. Then you got, you know, Teoscar Hernandez tying the game on a big bomb against, you know, Garrett Cole to solidify the Jays win in their opening game. I mean, it was just great. And I've been glued to the TV ever since. I've been recording things. I've been recording the Leafs, the Raptors, the Jays. And honestly, I'm so backed up right now. I gotta make a Costco run after this. But after that, I'm going to sit down and just watch all my sports in a line. I can't wait for that. But guys, honestly, huge win for the Jays. Series win against the Yankees. They looked great. You got Romano and Merriweather at the back of their bullpen. I mean, what can you say about these guys? These guys are just firepower back there, and the Jays haven't had too much of that in the past. You know, their bullpen hasn't been top notch like that. They haven't had guys throw like crazy velocity like that, so that was really good to see it in their first series against the Yankees. And it's interesting to see how they're gonna play out Merriweather in this because you know you got this guy, he's throwing heat and he can just he's a machine. I mean, this guy is pitching where the catcher wants it. He's pitching to aim. The guy's throwing 100 right out of the bullpen. I mean, what's not to like about this guy? I'm just hoping he stays healthy because I know in the past, you know, he dealt with a few injuries, and when the Jays actually acquired him, I think he was going through Tommy John surgery or recovery or something like that. So, I mean, it's good to see. I hope he stays healthy, and time will tell to see if that Donaldson trade for Merriweather was actually in the Blue Jays' favor. You saw Donaldson in his first game. I think he was trying to stretch a single into a double, and he pulled his hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. He's had those injuries in the past, so you know what? Prayers up to him. I hope he's okay. I hope he comes back. He was one of my favorite players when he was with the Jay. He still is one of my favorite players. And it's just going to be interesting to see if he can come back and what the comparisons are going to be down the line between Merriweather and the Donaldson, you know, trade. Next up, their next series was against Texas this past Monday. Action-packed, full house. I mean, there was 40,000 fans in the stands. I haven't seen that in a year plus. I don't think anyone has seen that in a North American sport in a year plus. And I mean, it was pretty nuts to see. Like, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. I kept blinking. I was telling my wife, look, like look how many people there are in the stands. They're being so close to each other. Like now, like that just feels wrong to us. But Texas, they did what they did. I think they made the players feel comfortable. Everyone on the Jays that I heard speak, they were comfortable. They never said one hiccup about what's going on with the mask mandate and stuff like that. So I think Texas did what they had to do, to open their arena up to their fans, and we'll see what comes out. We'll see what comes out of it. I hope there's no outbreaks or anything like that. I mean, it was really good to see fans in the stands because you know what, fans are what make sports, right? So it was really good to see, and I just hope nothing bad comes about it. But on that note, I was really impressed to see, the composure of this Blue Jays lineup. And, Matt's on the mound. He showed his composure. He stuck with the plan. I mean, Danny Jansen he was making it easy for his pitcher. And it's good to see that pitcher-catcher relationship. I think Danny Jansen's a strong catcher behind the plate for the Jays. I think they got a good defensive guy. Almost reminds me of Russell Martin in the sense of like that calm, controlled kind of calling of a game. He always looks like he's, ready to pounce on any kind of wild pitch or anything like that. I really like this Blue Jays team, and I'm really surprised at how well they show their composure against Texas in the packed stadium. I mean, they haven't experienced that in a year plus. So kudos to them. I mean, their young guns look really good. And I mean, the one concern I have about like our infield or, our younger guys, it's going to be an adjustment, obviously. Some of their defensive plays have been, a little bit skeptical, but, it's a process early in the season, trying to figure out new positions. Biggio's at third now. He used to be at second base, and now you got Semien at second base. You got Bo at shortstop, which he's always been doing. And then Bo Bichette, he's learning how to, have a new double play partner in Semien. So that's a little bit of work in progress, as well as Vlad at first, because that's a new position for him as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how our infield does. I know some plays were a little bit sketchy, but again, it's early in the season. I'm liking how our team's responding to, how they're seeing pitches, how they're working counts. I mean, Randall Grichuk has been on the tear. He's batting like 500 as we speak right now. And you know what? It's good to see Randall Grichuk fighting at the plate because he knows his job's on the line, basically, with Springer, Hernandez, and Gurriel, in the outfield, always hitting pretty well. So it's going to be really good to see. I mean, it's a really good problem to have for Charlie Montoyo. And Ross Atkins actually signed a 5-year deal with the Jays. So that's going to be another little interesting thing that I thought the Jays did. I mean, Ross Atkins and Shapiro, the tag team, they've done a really good job stockpiling a lot of their prospects and how they've gone about their trades and how they've gone about scouting, like Julian Merriweather for example. I mean, I really like what they've done. I wasn't a big believer in them at first. I thought they were more robotic in a sense because you had Alex Anthopoulos. He showed his emotions. He was at the field level quite a bit and at Rogers Center and things like that. He was always more open, I would say, in a sense, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Ross Atkins and Shapiro have done an amazing job, and I'm happy to see them get signed long term, and we're just going to see where it goes from there. I think they're on the right track to be one of the juggernauts in the AL East and in the MLB entirely. So, going to be really interesting to see. And then I just want to touch on maybe three actually of the veterans on the Jays. Semien, he's brought an amazing, kind of feel, a kind of vibe, a kind of calmness to the infield for Bo Bichette. He's been there. He's a big league pro. I mean, what's not to like about this guy? All his teammates, I've heard great things about Semien. These young players are going to look up to him. Again, Ross Atkins, great job signing him for a 1-year deal. Hopefully it pans out for Semien and he gets paid again for a long-term deal. And then Springer, I mean, he's battling a couple injuries. I think he has a quad injury now. And I think his quad and his oblique has been hurting him. So they had him scheduled to actually start in tomorrow's home opener, April 8th, against the LA Angels. But I think that's going to get pushed back. You never like to see injuries happen, and those things like quads and obliques, they're harder to deal with in a sense because they're more of a feel type injury. So with Springer, looming his return, I'm hoping that they take it easy with him. Don't rush it. There's no fans in the stands. You're not rushing to the Rogers Center to see Springer. That's not happening yet. I don't think that's happening this year. So take your time with him and ease him into the lineup. He's going to get plenty of time. This is a full season. Fingers crossed, hopefully. So that's where they're at with Springer. And you know what? Hyun-Jin Ryu. I mean, another veteran guy, another calming presence. I think because there's a little bit of a language barrier there, he does he shows his actions on the mound. And I feel like the players, they sense that calmness in him. And, actions speak louder than words. So it's always good to see how he handles the game. He's always controlling. His pitches are always controlled. I saw a spread the other day, a graphic showing his multiple pitches he throws. I mean, this guy, he's a gem. Like, this guy's a finesse pitcher. And honestly, if you see this graphic I saw, you would see how precise with his pitches he is and how much of a game plan he has with Danny Jansen and Pete Walker, the pitching coach for the Jays. So, I mean, those three veterans, amongst others, tied into, these young guys with the Jays. This is going to be a really good season to watch. I'm not sold on if they're going to be contenders, if they're going to be World Series champs. I mean, Dodgers and Padres, those guys are the big guns. Yankees, big guns. So it's really good to see the progression and what they're going to do to get to the goal of a World Series. I don't think they're there yet, but it is very good to see. So I can't wait for the next series. And once I get off this call, I'll be watching the Blue Jays that I recorded earlier at 2 p.m. I hope they won, because otherwise if I'm talking like this and they lost like 10-0, then it's, it's a little bit of a waste. But it's going to be really good to see this season. So I hope you guys are as interested as I am in the Jays and baseball in general. I mean, I could sit here talking forever about, Trout and Ohtani and LA Angels looking good and, all these feel-good stories, Cabrera hitting a homer in the snow. I mean, it's just been an amazing first week, and it's going to be fun to watch, guys. Now, we're going to shift over to wrestling and WrestleMania week, jam-packed. Dan sent me a schedule of all these, NXT and Hall of Fame night and AEW, and I was just like, every single day there's something. How am I supposed to do anything? I'd just be glued to the TV. So, me and Dan do an amazing job of splitting up what we talk about and feeding off each other. And, Dan's passion's wrestling, so, he tackles that like a gem. And once we actually have our little sit down, our powwow, and we go head to head talking about, these matchups coming up, it's going to be fun to hear. Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, John Morrison, and The Miz. Now, you heard me right. That's a tag team match. They moved it from being just Bad Bunny and The Miz. So now they're going to do a tag team match between Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, John Morrison, and The Miz. I don't know if we talked about this on air, but me and Danny were talking, candidly, off air, and we kept saying, you know what, I think it's gonna be a tag. I don't know if Bad Bunny can hold his own in a sense, because he is new to the wrestling game. So we kept saying that from the beginning, and they made it happen, and rightfully so, because if they did have Bad Bunny versus The Miz, how long could it really go? I mean, I was talking with Dan, and he was saying he could see it going for like 11, 12 minutes, but I mean, intros included and things like that. But I'm really glad to see them do a tag match. Bad Bunny has Damian Priest in his corner, great wrestler, and John Morrison, the veteran, with The Miz. It's going to be really cool to see. Just to touch on Bad Bunny, I mean, I've read a few things. Dan sent me a few things over the week talking about how, I think it was Triple H, he endorsed Bad Bunny, saying that Bad Bunny moved to Orlando, or is working out of a home in Orlando, every day coming to train, coming to better himself as a wrestler. He's taken it very seriously. You know, he's a dedicated guy. I mean, he's a Grammy winner. He's on every single week. He's on Raw every single week, and it just goes to show you how much passion he has to be a wrestler and to actually, you know, show up and put in the work. I've also seen Randy Orton endorse him in some Twitter beef against Soulja Boy. It's pretty funny. If you have some time, search it up. Never thought Orton and Soulja Boy would be in a Twitter battle together, but Orton gave him some high praise. He gave Bad Bunny some high praise, and he was saying that, you know, Bad Bunny shows up, he's putting in the work, he wants to be there every day, he doesn't want to do this part-time. And you see a lot of, you know, celebrities or artists, they've been incorporated into the WWE as, you know, a cameo here and there once a month or once every 2 months or what have you, not taking it seriously. They just want to pick up their check potentially and, you know, move on, do it as a secondary gig. But you really see the commitment in Bad Bunny, and I'm so excited to see like what he's gonna pull out. I mean, you saw him jump from the top ropes in the Royal Rumble this year, so he already had that move up his sleeve. I want to see what's gonna happen next, and I think that's gonna be one of my favorite matches. Just to see, I'm just curious to see how it's gonna go. So hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. Now, lastly, what I want to talk about is my boy Edge, the Rated R Superstar. That's why I'm wearing my blue. This match, I mean, kudos to WWE. Edge, Bryan, and Reigns. You know, this is like matchup of perseverance. I mean, you have Edge, who was a victim of neck injuries and constant neck injuries. Then you have Bryan with his concussions and his retirement and then coming back. And you got Reigns with, you know, his leukemia. This match, I mean, these guys are fighters, and I've enjoyed watching these guys wrestle throughout the years. I'm really excited what's going to happen in this match. I think this is going to be the match of the night. The match of, I guess, WrestleMania, because it's 2 nights. So the match of the back-to-back nights. Just going to be fun to see. I mean, these guys battle through adversity. You know, people have doubted them, and they're just showing that, you know, they still have what it takes to be a main card, to be in the main event, you know, to show up and have these fans have a good match, you know, have these fans entertained. And that's something I respect about these guys. It's going to be really interesting to see. I'm very curious to see who Danny's going to pick for this match. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek. I'm thinking it's Edge. I want it to be Edge. Hopefully he's crowned the new champ. And honestly, I can't wait for WrestleMania, man. 2 nights. I mean, this is going to be action-packed. I would love to talk about it more, but I need my better half to continue on just so we could bounce ideas off each other. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I'm Bill. Missing my partner Dan. By the Buzzer Pod across all boards, across all social media platforms. We're on YouTube as well. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Danny, I expect you to, you know, in the comments and everything, write down all of our Twitter handles, all our Instagram handles, Facebook handles, so that guys could find us, you know, men and women can find us. And sayonara, guys. Honestly, till next time.